Good afternoon, everyone. It's good evening. Thank you for tuning in.
It is good evening.
I know it. The day has just zipped by. I think it is IT World over here at K4CO Radio. So thank you all for tuning in. We had a wonderful interview earlier today about IT services, and we're going to keep it going. We're rolling with more IT people.
Earlier was more like cybersecurity.
It is
type
cybersecurity.
stuff, and yeah,
That's true. About how to not get hacked. Try and protect yourselves. But now we have an IT expert
guru
in the house. So welcome, Mr. Brett with IT1 Services. How are you today, sir?
I am so extraordinary, I don't know what to do with myself.
Ooh, I like it. I know for those of you that are listening, this is going to be up on YouTube here in about a week, and you have an impressive hat on your head, and it's very becoming. So, and it took 16 months to get to you, so I hope you wear it every day for the rest of your life.
It took 17 months to become.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, you were telling us
it.
about it. I've never waited 17 months for a hat, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
It's very stylish.
Especially since it's National Hat Day. I didn't know if you knew that.
I did not.
Yeah.
Every day is National Hat Day for me.
Nice.
Fair enough. I like it. I love hats too. Love hats.
Well, for those of you that are listening in the comfort of your home, you can follow along and check out the website. It is IT1, and it's actually the number one, service.com, to see what Brett is all about and kind of check it out. And this is a very impressive website. Actually, I feel like I'm in the Matrix.
It was designed that way.
Yeah, I thought so.
Do you have to pay the Wachowski brothers to have that on your site?
Anything over 90 seconds.
Right? Gotcha.
I love it. Well, I'm always curious about people when they get into the IT world, the tech world. What got you into the world of that? And did you know from an early age that you wanted to do that?
I was in elementary school. I came out here in 73, went to elementary school over in the area of Colorado, and they had a basic machine, and it was literally push 7 buttons, get a response.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I thought, that's pretty cool. And then I went to high school in New Mexico and started working on mainframes.
Nice. So
Yeah.
you've known pretty early on then that this is what you wanted to do.
Yep, I'm a geek.
Yeah,
I was kind of
no.
the same. I was the same growing up. I loved like anything. I'd take it apart and just figure it out. And
Yeah, every older person in my family would find something for me to fix.
Mm-hmm.
I had an aunt, she'd leave cameras and stoves and whatever. You know, what are these extra screws for? Oh, no, they didn't come from me.
But I'm going to go on a search and find it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
You're pretty lucky to know that you've wanted to do this your whole life. That's pretty rare, I would think.
This is, I think, my 4th career.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it hasn't always been IT.
No. So I've been in sales since I was 5.
I get that.
I'm a former Marine, so that's another. I own my company, and what would have been the 4th one? Yeah, that was still IT, so 3.
Okay. Well, this are probably all correlated. Did you do any IT stuff in the military?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was working on old typewriters, and we had a mimeograph machine. If you got close enough, you could get high from the ink.
That's why you loved it so much.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
And I asked my supply officer if I could have a computer, and it was a Zenith PC.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a, I don't know, 8088, and it was just like the second computer out. And she said, no, it's not on your TO&E, what you get.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went out and I bought a computer, and I turned my entire office over to my computer, and everybody was out sitting smoking. And my captain came by, and she said, why is everybody smoking? She said, did you take their jobs? I said, yes. Just give them back their jobs and stop that.
Nice. And this was back in the 80s.
84.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember, so my dad was on the publishing side back in 82 when IBM computers were first being introduced. Those were
They were introduced long before that.
Okay. This is
Just to the public.
to my world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll preface it with that. I'm not an IT person. I want everyone to
I'm
know
just saying,
that
I was
very
working
clearly.
on an IBM mainframe in 78. So.
Okay. I wasn't here yet on planet Earth.
Got it.
So-
I'm just old.
I
You
was,
are-
I was in the oven.
Oh my God.
in the 78s.
It's okay. The rabbit died
It
for
took
me,
us
so.
7 minutes to get derailed. Okay.
It's a long day.
It's been a long day. But I remember the big honking computers that would take up,
yeah.
half of a room.
A floor.
Yeah, you've seen a few changes from
Just a couple.
Over the decades.
Yep, computers are exactly the same as they were before. They're just smaller, faster, and lighter.
I have heard you say that, and I disagree.
Okay. Why?
And I want to know you. You are the expert. How
Sure.
are they? Because it seems very different.
Every computer runs on exactly the same operating system. Every device in this office, in this country, in this world runs on the same operating system.
Even Apple and
All of them.
okay.
Unix. It all runs on variances of Unix. They were made in the 60s. That's the only operating system that's been out. There's 2 versions, and everybody writes some variation of that. It's all the same thing under the hood. And every device from firewalls to TVs to watches to cameras, you name it, all runs on either Linux, Unix, Windows, all the same thing, Unix.
Why is it all zeros and ones?
So zeros and ones are basically binary.
Okay.
So it's combinations of eight character combinations of zeros and ones. So A might be, and it's not in this case, but A might be 1000001.
Mm-hmm.
B might be 1000010.
Right.
So, and that's represented in technology by 2 different voltages, 2 different electrical voltages, on and off. So every circuit board in everything runs on and off. So if a signal goes from point A to point B and it says turn off or go left or go right, it's options.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just combinations of yes and no.
You would just always think that additional numbers would be added, like, social security or numbers or something like. It's just like, it's not zeros and ones, it's zeros all the way up to 9, you would think, with the way technology goes, but
Yep.
it's still just zeros and ones.
Yep.
That just blows my mind right there.
I want things to be very simple. I miss
It's incredibly simple.
Again, I'm going to disagree.
That's why you hire him.
Exactly.
To make it simple.
This means you're the expert, and I am the woman that wants the rabbit ears on top of the TV. I want to go smack the hell out of it and say, work. I want 4 channels, on, off.
I tell my customers all the time. They say, I don't know why it works for you. I said, it's more scared of me than it is of you.
I think you know what you're doing. The rest
No,
of
sometimes
us.
I just walk in the room and it starts working.
Oh, you just need your. Sometimes I feel like that with him too.
Yeah.
With my TV, I will be at it for 3 hours, and he'll walk in the room, and I'm like, "What the?"
Yeah, we call that a rabbit hole.
Okay.
So my tech only gets 30 minutes to a rabbit hole. I can find this, I can fix it, I can get it done. Whatever it is, and it doesn't necessarily apply to tech, it's everything. So I give him 30 minutes to go find the answer on Google, which is useless. And because it's 90%, 98% crud.
Yes.
And
I agree.
So I give him 30 minutes, then he's got to call me.
Okay.
So he started calling me, hey, Google.
Hey Google, I like it.
Yeah.
I love how your common theme is it.
Well,
Throughout your website, throughout everything, get it done. We'll take care of it. It's
supposed to be IT, but I had to steal it and modify it slightly because I couldn't use the terminology that I wanted to use.
Which was?
We always accomplish the mission, which is the Marine Corps.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I figured
like that
I'd have
too.
somebody yelling at me, so.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, I told you my grandfather was a career in the Marine Corps, and I like that.
Me too.
So I throw it up there.
If
If anyone's offended by it, you know what?
they're not offended. I just don't
think
want
it's
to go to court on
copyright.
it.
Oh,
I
that's
don't want to
true.
go to court on it.
Oh, I
Exactly.
see. I'm sorry. Okay.
I do a lot of work with attorneys. I don't want to have to hire them.
You'd rather pay Stephen
Fair
King than the.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm with Josh on this. I like because we view it as get it done. Get IT done. Get it done.
I figured was already taken.
Yeah,
Get her
exactly.
done. I like that
Who was
too.
that?
You're very creative.
Was that he'd have to pay Larry the Cable Guy?
Yeah, get her done.
Get her done. Exactly.
I like
How
that.
did you come up with IT services? Was it just was there a story
That's about
behind
as
that?
basic as it gets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not a lot of thought, just like IT services. That sounds good.
Well, it was IT, and I wanted something that started early, so.
One.
I mean, that was the 7th or 8th iteration of my company. Been in business since '83, so.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So was it not originally named that?
No. Originally, my company was BCM Enterprises, which is just my initials.
Okay.
At one point, I had two partners, and we called it Cybertech.
Okay.
And we had the Terminator skull, or a variation of it, as our logo.
Cool.
That did not last.
Okay. They thought maybe it was a different type of company.
No, one guy had a problem, and he wasted 10 grand in an afternoon, and
Good for him.
that was problematic, considering it was the company money. And the other guy had a sleep disorder where he'd sleep for a week and then stay up for 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I bet he got a lot done in the 3 that he was awake.
You would think.
I'm loving this interview right
I
now.
know. I am too. I would hire you just to laugh.
Well, half of my clients think I should be on stage, the other half buried underneath.
Oh.
Wow. I like it.
You do. You're very creative. Off the cuff.
Only in this.
Only in this. Well, it is. You're of course here in Colorado.
I am.
And do people come to you, or do you go to them, or a mixture of both? Okay.
Both. And we handle anything, anywhere. I've got clients in Texas. I've had clients in China. I've had clients Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, anywhere in Colorado. I once traveled in one day, well, technically a day and a half, from Denver to Grand Junction, the one that's at the $1 Million Highway.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while. So from Denver to Grand Junction, installed some equipment for the company, and then got on the road over the $1 Million Highway to Albuquerque. Next morning, I installed the equipment there and was back in Denver that afternoon.
Wow. I hope you had a good podcast.
And a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any 60s, 70s, and 80s rock and roll will keep me going.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm with you.
Speaking my language right there. So for the people out there that just think, computer, it's a computer. What is IT?
So IT has gone through 100 renamings in time. It's technology. It's the thing you use to make your life a little bit easier that annoys the crud out of you most of the time.
Uh-huh.
It's anything that plugs in, transfers information, holds information, or allows you to view information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree. I'm one of those people, and Sarah will attest to this, that you don't have to put a computer in everything. A washer and a dryer doesn't need a computer.
In fact, it does. But what you had in your hand is also technology.
A pen is a technology. It's very basic technology.
It's more advanced than a pencil.
True.
Or a piece of clay and a stick. So it's just, everything moves forward. And people try to make life easier and usually give themselves more headache.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Exactly. And that's that headache where you start putting like a big computer in something that doesn't need it.
I agree. I know where you're going with this. My car is a great example. Most cars today.
All cars.
All cars today.
Well, unless
today.
Today that are made, correct.
Yeah,
but
I think
if one thing,
the 50s and 60s is where they started putting computers in late in that time frame.
Yeah.
I'm not a car guy, but
it's really changed now, though. Like my Jeep 2012, it's pretty much one of the last ones you can just open the hood and see engine.
I can open the hood and see space.
Space, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
I mean, literally, I open it up and there's just space. I have the new Ioniq 5. I traded in for the electric.
Really?
Oh.
So there's just open space and I can put the windshield wiper fluid in there.
interesting. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
That's technology right
That
there.
is technology. So things have definitely changed a bit, at least in that regards.
They've gotten faster. Mm-hmm. They've gotten smaller. And they've gotten lighter.
Okay.
But that's it. You still have storage. You still have active memory.
Right.
You still have processing power, graphics, monitors, printers, standard output devices, input devices. They're all the same.
It still amazes me, like a computer, I mean, not even too long ago, it was that 1.5 feet tall, 6 inches width and everything, like that big desktop computer. And now it's basically the size of a portable CD player, your hard drive.
There's more power in a phone from the 80s than there was to send the Apollo missions to the moon.
Right, exactly. And
Wow.
that blows my mind, yeah.
They said what? They had a calculator.
They had enough power for to operate a toaster or something in Apollo 13, something like that.
Yeah.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, that's not scary.
That's why I'm not getting in the fight.
No kidding. I'm glad that they were, okay.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, now you have Boeing.
I knew we were going to go down a rabbit hole.
Exactly.
So
Go for it.
when people call you, what is usually the number one reason that they call?
Frustration.
About
Everything. It can be. So I had a client many years ago who made a choice not to do business with me. And that was on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. And on Friday night, she called me and she said, I am so effed. And I said, what? She said, I hired this guy and all my data's gone. And I said, oh, that's not good. I said, she goes, I'll pay you anything. I said, well, let's talk about that afterwards. Let's just get your data back, get it where you need it to be, and then we can talk if you want to do business. Mm-hmm. And I did that for free, and it took a couple hours, and we got the data back, and she's still my client.
nice.
So
I like
along
that you
with her
do.
mother, her sister, her wife, and friends.
I like it when you do the right thing that it actually comes back tenfold.
Company's grown 20 times in the last 7 years.
That's amazing. It's because you do the right thing.
Try.
I hope everyone is listening to that. Do the right thing, people. Do the ethical right thing.
So
and then people will stick with you.
What happened to her data?
The guy just didn't know what he was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of people in the industry who have 5 years or 10 years in the industry and they think they know everything. And, there's those stages of knowledge, when you don't know what you know, and then, like there's like 6 of them. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but he was in I know everything and know nothing. So.
And you stated your business has changed a lot over the years. What are some examples of that? I mean, just you personally, your business.
Cloud-based stuff was a big change.
Mm-hmm.
The internet obviously was a change. When I started, there was none.
Right.
Devices and the prevalence and of where they are in everyday life. I heard a comedian talking about the apocalypse when the internet goes down, and you've got somebody younger, a guy with I'm just going to go get my beard trimmed and go get my latte, and oh my God, where's the internet? And then just shoots himself. So
gosh.
well, it was the comedian. But the point being is that people are so invested in one particular type of technology or one path, they don't even think about the others. I helped a friend build a shed from scratch, and it was a lot of fun. And it has nothing to do with technology other than math.
Well, you're still building, though. When we came and met you at your office, which is very impressive. For those of you that are listening, go check out the office. But you are a builder, and that essentially is what technology is, right? You're taking stuff apart and putting it together. So it's...
Hopefully.
Yep. That is the goal. Do you work predominantly on computers, or are you also on iPads and tablets?
So we
phones?
do any form of technology. If it plugs in, we work on it. Because everybody works on something different. We can take over phones or tablets and help with that. We have some people who, they boot their computers up and it says a blue screen of death, just a little code and nothing else, and
right.
Nothing happens. And they can't really describe it, and they're a 3-hour drive away. I can take over their camera and their phone, and they can point at it, and I say, oh, hit this key, do that.
Nice.
So,
Wow.
And you do a wide array of services too. So you can install hardware. You do cloud
we
services.
do hardware, software, cloud services, managed services, which is managing hardware in an office, operating systems, actual computers, antivirus, endpoint protection, things like that, copiers, printers, routers, firewalls. I was a prison guard in the Marine Corps, so I'm big on security. So, the basic rules all apply. If you don't know who it's from, don't click on it.
Right.
If it sounds too stupid to be real, don't click on it. If you're over 70, don't click on it.
Now it's if you get an email with a link, don't click on the link unless you trust the person.
Even if you trust the person. Because mails are spoofed. They look like they're coming. I had a client a couple of days ago who, she's the office manager, writes the checks, does the banking, and she got an email from her boss that said, here's the email chain talking with, whoever in on the East Coast, and please cut the check for $45,000 and send the ACH to this information. And that would have worked in some places, but in this case, she looked over at him and said, "Hey, did you send this to me?" No. Okay.
Wow.
Well, good for her to
Yeah.
track
Yeah,
that.
and
Exactly.
that's due in large form to my preparation of people saying, "Don't do that."
No, it's good.
Yeah, it didn't work on my mother either.
Good.
4 times somebody took over her computer.
Oh my gosh.
Well, she let them in 4 times.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, this is, as people grow older, they just, they're inherently trusting. They don't want to seem as though they don't know something. They figure they want to be able to take care of themselves, whatever it is, especially if they're guys. And they get suckered in.
Right.
And they get suckered in repetitively because sometimes they don't remember they got suckered in before. And no, it's terrible. I mean, elder abuse from a technology perspective is massive.
Yeah.
You know.
It's true. We were talking about that earlier today, but I was hacked about a year and a half ago, and it seemed so legit. I got a text message, and I literally had bought something the day before from Amazon. And I know logically that Amazon doesn't text me, but it did. It said we had a problem with your order or something like that, and it was around the same price. And it just, of course, I click on it, and my life changed rapidly after that.
Yeah, companies like Amazon and all the other major communications companies get hacked pretty consistently.
Oh, yeah.
Because they get run by bean counters who say, well, if we get hacked and we lose all this information, we might have to pay $2 million. And if we spend for all of the technology to stop all these people and keep it updated and do the maintenance on it, we'll spend $6 million. Okay, we're going to risk it.
Right.
Wow.
It's all risk management.
Pretty much like insurance. If it's
It is insurance.
yeah, exactly. If it's too expensive to fix,
Yeah.
then you're not gonna fix it. I mean,
Unless there's a public affairs angle to it.
right? Exactly.
Do you find that you are working more with individuals or more on a company basis?
So we specialize with companies 25 workstations or people and below. So people who work on workstations. So if it's a construction company, for instance, and they got 7 guys in the field and all they do are, say, yes, boss, then they're not considered that for me. But we handle any quantity of company, any type of company, 1 person to 25. And the only reason I stop at 25 is because I worked at a company a long time ago that said the 26th person was the person to tell all the vendors no. So I just stopped there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Annoying.
Or annoying. All right, 1 to 25 people. If you fall in that category and you have anything wrong with your devices, you can fix it. You
Yep.
can figure
Absolutely,
it out.
without question.
That's pretty amazing. And I love that
I
you've
may
been
not
at
be able to
this
get
for so
back
long.
data you've deleted, but I can fix the problem.
Okay. You've been at this a long time. I'm sure you are definitely an expert in your field.
I hope so. Otherwise, I'm in deep trouble.
You have definitely seen it.
Is data ever really deleted, gone?
Yes.
All right. Unless it's on the internet, right?
Yeah, because we've heard that it's still, you can still trace stuff even after it's deleted, isn't
You
it?
can.
Somewhere
and
floating.
it depends on the platform. I recently had a client who, through no fault of his own, data was deleted that he was working on, and because it was a new solid-state drive, when it was deleted, the process automatically created that as free space, which means it was not recoverable.
Right. Okay.
Whereas if it was a mechanical drive, it would have retained that longer, and we might have been able to recover that data. So different types of mediums. I was talking to a data recovery guy a couple of days ago, and he was telling me that if you have a solid state drive and you don't plug it in for at least a year to power, don't expect the data to be there all the time.
Okay. I assume you recommend to most people to back up their data.
7 different ways from Sunday.
Okay.
I back up 7 different ways every day.
Okay.
It's costly, but it's less costly than losing my data.
What are those 7 different ways?
I know too.
So I back up to OneDrive, SharePoint, Dropbox. I back up to my my management platform. I back up to a server, and I back up to a NAS.
Wow. Okay. Do you recommend that for everyone? 7 different
Recommend?
ways?
Yes. Expect? No.
Okay. It's like I usually do 1 to 2.
And again, if that suits the possibility of your data, if your data is, the recipes and the personal communications between you and the family, then 1 or 2 is fine.
Right.
But if your data is client data or
Sure.
company data or financials or documents that are around your company, how much would it take you to recreate that?
Sure.
Gotcha.
So, a few $100 a month is cheap,
That is
and
true.
it's insurance,
Yeah.
and it's all technology is insurance is fear. What will I lose if?
So true. I love how you structure this, and I'm going to butcher it, so you're going to have to clarify for those that are
Get the
listening.
knife.
I get the oh my gosh, stand-up comedy is in your forte. You would be very good at it. So you have a lot of people when they buy services, it's when you come and that's it. But what I like is you can actually prepay for you,
Correct.
which is I find that kind of rare.
So I have 3 lawyers in the family, and I love the way they get paid. Lawyers in general, because they always get paid in advance if they're taking a case, and once they stop being paid, they stop working. Which, from a personal standpoint, I don't like, but from a business standpoint, it's a great thought process. So we offer our regular rates at $150 an hour, but we also offer prepaid blocks of hours at discounted rates. So a 10-hour block's at $125, a 20-hour block's at $100, and a 50-hour block's at $90. So all nonprofits get the $90 rate no matter what, and all they have to buy is a 5-hour block or more.
And these never expire, correct?
Nope, never expire. We also bill in 15-minute increments instead of hour increments, so it lasts longer. So if you buy a 10-hour block and you have 5 calls that last 5 minutes, if I remember to write them down, that would be 15 minutes, so it'd be an hour and a quarter
Okay.
or an hour and a half.
Okay.
So
That's very smart, I think, to do it that way.
Is this for business and personal?
anybody.
Anybody.
And we'll do anything you want for that.
So
Well, okay,
say
not anything legal.
Because one woman, I believe, right, they used it
I
to
had a
be
client
a
for
driver.
about 4.5, 5 years, and it began to fix my computer, then it began to fix my TV, then and it worked its way to I'm having knee surgery and I don't trust anybody else. It's COVID. Drive me to the doctor. So 3 times a week we would drive her to the doctor. And at one point she was buying more hours, and she said, "Well, I'm doing this off of my trust, and the trust administrator says it should only be $50 an hour." I said, "Great, get him to drive you."
It's
I
true.
said, "I don't really care what we do. If we're there to fix your technology, great. But if you need us to do something else, we're happy to help."
I like it.
I need my driveway concrete report and
I can
stuff
do
like
that. I have one of the best concrete companies as a client in the state,
Nice.
See?
I like it.
and
There
they're
you go.
wonderful. And I probably give 5 references a day to people. I gave 3 today, just of
Nice.
other people in other businesses that somebody might need.
Right.
I love it. We try and do the same. That's the whole joy of networking, but really it's the relationship building. It's like you said, when you do the right thing and you go help someone, then they're going to say, "Hey, I like you. You're funny. You fixed my computer. I'm going to go refer you."
Yep, pay it forward.
It's all kind of how the world works, right?
How it could work.
How it could
How
work.
it could work.
Okay.
And that's what I love about
Possibility.
buying time blocks beforehand is you never know when you'll need it.
No, and we don't do contracts either. We don't require that people buy things in advance if they don't want to. We don't require they sign a contract. My contract is my hand.
Right.
And if you don't like it, you don't like me anymore, you can tell me that, and I'll give you all your stuff and have a nice day. The only thing on the blocks that I tell everybody is that we will more than happily, move us down the road. But if you have money on the books, you're going to have to use it for something.
Right.
I'm not going to give you cash back.
Right.
But if you want a new computer and you got enough on the books for the computer, great,
Then
go buy the computer.
go for it,
Or
yeah.
a washer, or you want me to go pay for your car repair, which I've done as well.
Car repair. You are a jack of all trades.
No, I didn't do the repair. Me in a car, fixing a car would be bad.
Be not good? Okay.
Bad. No, I have a client who lives in Buena Vista, and it's kind of off grid. And I was talking to him, and he says, yeah, the electric car is not doing well out here. I said, well, it's winter. Why do you have an electric car out there? And he said, well, my truck's in the shop. And I said, you could get the truck out of the shop. And he said, no, it's really embarrassing, but I can't. I said, why not? He goes, I don't have the money to pay for it. And I'm thinking thousands of dollars for a truck. And he says, no, it's $700. And he just wasn't having a good day. And he's another Marine. And I said, you just bought a block like 6 months ago. Yeah. I said, do you want me to go pay for the truck and get it out? And he went, what? And then he started crying. So it doesn't matter to me with the money. The benefit to the client is obvious. They get a discount. It lasts forever. And there's no, time limit.
Right.
And there's no requirement of what you use it for. To me, it's simple. I don't have receivables. Everything's always paid. So.
I love it. Well, for those of you that are just tuning in, go to IT1, it's the number, service.com. And I'm going to put out your number as well. So
Sure.
people can call. Can they also text you at this number?
They can text me or call me at 303-520-4349, which is my cell. We do work 24/7, so if you call at 3 in the morning and you have a problem, we'll fix it at 3 in the morning. If you call at 3 in the morning to test me and you own a block, I'm going to attack you for an hour. Another client did that.
That's fair enough. I can't believe your phone is on at 3 in the morning.
My phone is on 24/7.
At like ringing?
Yeah.
Oh, good God.
What else would you use a phone for?
Well, at
Paperweight.
3 in the morning, I'm sleeping.
Yeah, but it rings loudly and obnoxiously and wakes me up.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, so I might have to test you on this one.
As long as you got a block and you want to waste an hour, I'm in.
Okay.
There's also a direct number to the office. The main office number is 720-386-1510, and my direct line is 720-464-2295. All of those ring to my cell eventually.
Okay.
Nice.
I like
You
it.
can also get my tech or my office manager same way.
Nice. Okay. So there is a crew of you that work together.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep trying to add to the crew and nobody shows up to work.
That's true. Can we put a plug in
It's a
that
different
for
world.
that?
Sure. If you know of any salespeople who understand what commission only means and want to work, I want to hire you.
I think
I
it's
pay
great.
some of the highest commission rates around. If you sell 2/3 of what I sell every year while doing everything else, then I'll send you anywhere in the world you want for 2 weeks and give you a couple of grand. That's the bonus.
Anywhere you want.
Anywhere you want. You want to go to Madagascar or Minneapolis, I don't care.
Wow.
2 weeks.
I might
send
have a
it.
good guy for you.
Okay? It
He's
comes
sitting
out to
very
about
close to
400
you.
grand in sales. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's really not that hard because every client who buys a block of ours, most of my clients, if not great majority of them, stay for an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So if they get another block and that's managed by that salesperson, then that block is saleable. That's a commissionable block.
Right.
So a portion of that goes to the salesperson. And I pay 20% of gross sale.
Nice. Okay.
So.
For those of you that need a job in 25.
And want to show
Yes,
up.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
That's a
show
big
up and
thing.
work. And
Yeah.
It's enormous. I did the best response I got was from a LinkedIn ad.
Mm-hmm.
I had 30 people respond, and the ad started out something like, if you want a job where you get paid and sit on your butt and wear pajamas, don't call me. You know? And
Yes.
there were like 10 of those in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was very annoyed when I made it.
Well, it's funny though.
It
shows.
I'll send it to you. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's along with our humor. If you follow us on Facebook and Instagram,
I don't do any social media.
Okay. Well, we'll
You'll do it for me.
We'll do
Thanks.
it for you.
Exactly.
But it's
One of the mottos that you use is no excuses. Take it that's not for people you're hiring. That's for
Everything.
everything. Okay.
I had a client recently who lost some data, and he asked me to text. He said, "Are you blaming so and so?" And I said, "No, I take responsibility for not being exact enough in my direction to not store data here. That was my fault, and I will do everything I can to recover that data." But I work under the restrictions of I didn't manufacture that. If I worked for an attorney once who I was trying to find a better solution and I missed backing something up and it failed. And Microsoft shipped out a product line that encrypted their hard drive, unbeknownst to them. And of course, never admitted that they ever did that.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, there's a product called BitLocker, which is an encryption tool for Windows. And they turned it on nationwide, worldwide, and didn't tell anybody. So when the computer would do an update on the computer itself, the software the operating system would look at the computer, go, different computer, put in your code, and nobody ever had any codes. But I had to use my insurance that I've maintained for almost 50 years, and they paid it. And I walked in. She goes, "Well, we're going to have to talk about this." I said, "No." I said, "I've already opened the claim. I admit it. It was my fault. I should have backed that up. Here you go." And they went, "What?"
Yeah, you show up and you just say, "Yeah, this was me."
I've screwed up enough in my life, so I like to take responsibility for the things I do and don't do.
You are a Marine through and through. Well, it's not that,
I know.
it's to do the right thing is where I was going with that.
Seems like a lot of issues do come about because of updates. From
Always.
what we've seen.
Always. After Windows 7, they stopped doing service packs. So they'd stop waiting to get a whole bunch of updates and then do a service pack and then do the next version or another service pack 8 months or a year later. Now they do an update every day or two.
Yeah, all the time.
And the problem, same, the airline update problem, with the malware.
Yeah, with Delta,
protection.
correct?
Well, Delta was one.
One
But the company was a remote management tool, endpoint protection software that they were using, and there was an update, and nobody caught the bug, and it just shut everything down. And they write stuff that they got programmers. They got 1,000 programmers making every update. So it's a process, and sometimes it screws up.
They might want to test it every once in a while.
They stopped doing that about 20 years ago. They really did. They stopped doing testing of software before it goes out. There used to be an alpha and a beta.
Yeah.
And now there's the update.
Can I just ask, why is that not illegal to do that? Shouldn't you test a product before you release it to millions of people that could be potentially harmful?
Yeah, you go ahead and sue Microsoft.
No
See
problem.
where you get with that.
No problem. I need a bigger challenge this year.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's the way the software industry has gone in the last 20 years. Everything's on a subscription now. So, you don't get to buy the cow, you get to pay for the cow every week. Operating systems, they're not 100% stable. They have errors. And, there's so much code in these products that, hackers crack this stuff every hour on the hour. I mean, Google gets hacked. What I've heard is every 3 seconds. And they fix it every 3.25 seconds. But so many people get hammered in that quarter-second variant that you ever click on a link on Google on a search engine on Google, and then you get the warning, bells and whistles, call us, don't turn your computer off, kind of thing.
Yep.
Turn the computer off, turn it back on, go right back to normal. It's a phishing scam, but it happens all the time.
And you said it's changed so much in the past 20 years. Where do you see IT services changing in the years to come? Because things are just moving at an incredible rate.
I've never been a first adopter, so I'm not a big fan of AI. I figure if you want to write something, get a brain and write it.
Right.
Don't ask a computer to tell you how to write things. Just because it's grammatically correct doesn't mean it's
Good.
yeah. Can AI do things? Sure. Do I want to be involved in that end of things? No, not really. But I like building wood too. I don't do it well, but I like it. So, I wait for stuff to become capable before I start pushing it or telling people about it.
I know it's an interesting world, especially we're of course in social media. So I can see with even social media, with AI, with the chat GPT, that it could be a good tool, but I agree with kind of the human element of it.
Well, I mean, if you take chat GPT, what off the top of your head do you think most people use it for today?
That's a good question. What most
Writing
people?
stuff that they should know how to write.
Well, true, but I don't disagree. Sometimes it can be a little quicker.
Sure,
can say-
speed is great, but if you crash into the wall, speed doesn't matter.
Well, that's true.
I don't even know what
still-
Chat GPT is.
ChatGPT is an
GPT.
AI-based production tool to say ask questions and get an answer.
So like, hey Siri, what's this?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Kind of.
and
Yeah, it's similar.
and they might you might say, how does a volcano work? Or, whatever, and it'll tell you.
Right.
But the problem is that I was reading an article that they don't have people in the last generation or two who can read cursive, who can
or write cursive.
handwriting.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, technology always fails.
Right.
There's always some reason that technology fails. The Marine Corps in the last 7 or 8 years, I guess, I was talking to a couple of Marines, stopped teaching iron sights. So on any weapon, there's a single sight in the front and rabbit ears in the back.
Yeah.
Iron sights.
Yeah.
Well, they stopped teaching Marines to shoot. They now have optics that put a dot sight out there.
Yeah.
And
What do you do
I
if
think
it
that's
fails?
incredibly stupid because
It will fail.
as
in the
most
field.
Marines do, because eventually your weapon turns into a bat.
Right.
And when your optics fail, you need to be able to shoot.
Right.
And to the best of my knowledge,
Right.
all of the people who shot at or killed presidents up until this last individual were former Marines. Yeah, you learn that in boot camp.
Well, I have an interesting what I heard from my kiddo to get us off that topic.
Oh, come on.
Nope, we can't go down that.
Thank God.
So it's just so interesting about, I agree. It's the human element when that gets missed across the board. So my kiddo had open heart surgery at 1.5 years. And I mean, they can do it at brand new baby. Think how tiny a heart is. And our surgeon came out after his 8 hours of heart surgery and he's standing there. I'm like, do you need to sit? Can I get you, a drink of water? And I said, how do you operate on something so tiny? Because you are, of course, you have the microscope and it's very, very hard. And he and I went into the discussion of cursive. It's so interesting that you talked about that they aren't teaching that in school. And you don't think about the repercussions of the human element when it comes to that. When you are learning cursive, think about what you have to do. When you are learning block letters, you're writing very differently. He said, if you get rid of cursive completely, you do not learn how to do that motion and it doesn't build up these muscles. Surgeons on very intricate, small things need to know how to do that. And that is, look at that. I know the stylist, for those of you that are listening, please teach your kiddos some form of cursive because this is generationally going to change our world. And so it's so funny that you mentioned that. I was thinking about that the other day, but it's to keep the human element in it, to learn the basics, because technology will fail. It's not win. It is win, essentially. It's going to fail at some aspects. So,
Always.
And it's just a part of our world, and it is really scary that our devices, and I've put myself into this completely. If I don't know where my phone is, it's a moment of panic. because it's such a lifeline. Same thing with our computers. Our technology are with us all the time.
I left my phone and my watch at home and went to a chamber meeting. And everybody said, well,
How do you
can
feel?
you? And I went, yeah, sure, when I go home. And they went, what?
It is. Well, good for you to even be in the industry and just say, you know what? I'm going to be
I know lots of people who
free.
unplug.
That's wonderful.
I wish I could sometimes, but,
Yeah,
you know, I need to be connected enough that people can contact me.
exactly.
But other than that,
The days of, call me and I'll get back to it when I get home.
I mean, of the major carriers whose phones don't work most of the time.
That's true. Some of us fall into that as well.
No, I've either been with or resold as a reseller every service that's been available for phone service over the years. So AT&T, MCI, Sprint, all of them, and Verizon, and because they'd give me discounts on service, and I'd resell their products to my clients. And the problem is that all of them are bad. It's literally worse than the presidential thing. They're just all bad choices.
It is hard, depending where you live. You know, you can have...
Yeah, it's AT&T if you're going to Europe or you're traveling in kind of off-grid areas. Verizon if you're on highways or cities. I wouldn't do T-Mobile to save anybody's life because they're part of Sprint, and it's all just bad technology. It's never worked. They're consistently drop calls that the others will keep. And I don't really care about the bandwidth. I really care about making a phone call on my phone.
Right.
Right, exactly.
And talking about how, everything fails eventually, I mean, what would you say are some of the biggest problems or issues that your clients talk to you about? Like, is there like a group of things that you
Printers, scanners, internet access, errors, they don't know what the heck they are. It used to work, now it doesn't. I didn't do anything, I swear.
I have said that before. I'm like, I promise this
And
wasn't
everybody
me.
says that because most of the time it isn't you. I mean, sometimes it's the problem with, between the computer and the chair. But the greater majority of the problem is not that most of the time. A lot of it is just, I can fix that. I can do that. I mean, you talk about frustration. You're a musician. If your strings fall off and you don't know how to do that well, but you have the strings and you spend 4 hours trying to get it just right, or you drive 30 minutes to the guy who knows how to do it and he does it in 3 minutes, which is the better choice.
Right.
And it's the same thing with technology.
It is so true. I turn on my computer or my TV. It worked fine yesterday. I pushed the same on button and now it doesn't work.
Yeah, but you didn't recognize that the dog sat on whatever last night, and that's why.
That's true.
Or-
Which actually has happened.
Oh yeah. Or you run everything through an audio tuner, and you don't realize that it sent you to the DVD channel instead of the PC or the whatever.
Right.
Just very annoying stuff. Sometimes it's as simple as about 90% of the time, turn it on, turn it on.
Back on.
Yeah. How many times do you say reboot it?
A day, an hour, or a week.
Let's
How about
go
a day?
with a day. How's that?
It's a repetitious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it resolves the issue, and I usually tell my clients, if you're concerned, close your data, save it, turn it off, turn it on, let's see what happens.
Right.
Because sometimes Microsoft will do updates and it won't reboot the computer, and then stuff starts failing and you can't figure out why, and you're driving yourself nuts, your hair's getting thinner, and I go in there and I look at it for 5 seconds and I go, okay, reboot, and then it comes up and it says installing updates 1%,
Yeah.
2%.
Yeah.
Okay, when's it going to get to 3%?
Or it gets to 100% and then it starts over again. That's always fun.
There was a programmer in the 80s who wrote that.
It's like on purpose?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
They wrote an algorithm that basically said, if I'm copying files, if I'm performing a series of functions, how long does that take? And I'll put it on a 0 to 100% scale. And that's why it goes 1 hour, 10 minutes, 4 hours, 6 minutes. And same thing. It's still the same algorithm. When you log into a server or remote into a computer using remote desktop, which is part of Windows. There's a guy, I met him once, who gets $6 every time they sell a copy of Windows.
Oh my gosh.
Because he wrote that, I think it was with I can't remember the name, JPEL, JPS, JPF. It was a something J something Labs out in California in the 70s. And he wrote that for Windows. And he got, for his entire life, he got like $6 every copy of Windows.
Wow.
Well, that was a good thing to do.
Yeah.
That guy's not hurting for money.
That guy's dead.
Oh, he
His
was. I'm
family's
sorry.
not.
His family or his
wasn't.
great-grandchildren are
Are
at
doing
large.
pretty well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good for them. Well, I know we're getting close to our time, but we tried to cover everything. Is there anything else that you cover as far as services that you wanted to make sure people knew what you do?
I have 2 rules for my clients if anybody's ever seen NCIS. The
Which
TV show.
one?
Any of them. So in NCIS, the main one, Gibbs has all the rules that he lives by or that his characters have to live by. And mine are simple. First one is always breathe. Because anytime anything happens to a piece of technology that you can't explain, your body freezes up, your body language stops your breathing, and you stress.
Yeah.
And it goes up immediately. So if right now all your systems locked up,
Right.
you would sit there and your eyes would open, your breathing would stop or slow down, and you'd be going, crud, what do I do now? So the first one is breathe.
And I get that too, because, usually, everything builds up, and when it just explodes with me is when something should be working. I've checked everything, should be where I rebooted it, it should be working, and it's not.
I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't got this. And the second one is call me before you get frustrated. Because otherwise I'm spending the first half hour talking people down from the ledge. Which is okay. I do it fairly well.
It comes out of the hour, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Call
That's
Brett
why you calm
before.
down before you call.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
cheaper. Breathing techniques.
Just calmate.
Okay. I do. I have wonderful breathing techniques too. I just have to remember to use them.
I have one.
Okay.
In and out. That's it.
That's 2.
No, it's one technique.
Oh,
okay.
2 motions.
Okay. That's good. In, out. Good. Okay. Well, people, you heard it here. Breathe. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think that's another good thing I have to tell myself. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
This can be solved, but breathing is good.
If you back up your data enough times,
Yes.
then it doesn't matter what happens to your technology. Go out and buy another piece, and there you go.
Yeah.
And we donate to nonprofits all the time. We donate technology, older technology. If there's somebody who hears the show who goes, I don't know, I've just come out of homelessness and I don't have a computer and I need one, and I have a place to plug in, but I don't have a computer to do it. Come on down, I'll give you one.
That's
I
amazing.
mean, it's not a new one, but I'll give you one.
Well, no, that's great. I know. Sorry, we didn't even get into that. You're involved in chamber work and
Yeah,
chambers
I'm
and
with the
events.
Denver Jewish Chamber of Commerce and the Inglewood Chamber, and I'm thinking about joining the Glendale Chamber.
Okay.
So, but I need a salesperson.
Okay, that's true. If you're looking for work
Yeah,
that pays well and you want to go somewhere for 2 weeks on the company dime,
anywhere you want to go.
that's amazing.
I have yet to anybody take me up on it.
All you have to do is 2/3 of what you do.
Yep,
Okay.
and you don't even have to do the technical end. All you gotta do is close the deal.
Just
Right.
have to
Close
sell.
the deal.
You'll take care
Okay.
of it.
That's it.
Salespeople. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
You have
having
a
me.
wonderful sense of humor. I can see why clients love you. I would come just to have you tell jokes for an hour.
or hate me, one of the two.
Well, you know what? There's a fine line between love and hate, right? There's a whole song written about it.
Nope, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's
Well,
just it's
yeah.
one coin you can get smacked with.
Wow.
Just matters of where it
like
lands.
it. Okay. Well, thank you all for tuning in. This has been a special interview with Brett Minzer with IT1 Services. And you can find him online at IT1. Again, that's IT, the number 1, service.com. And tell your cell phone one more time if they want to call or
So
text
cell
you.
phone is 520-4349. And the office line, my direct line, is 720-464-2295. And our main office number is 720-386-1510.
Perfect. If you have any issue whatsoever with your computer,
Or anything else for that matter.
or anything, I know, anything that you can plug in. I mean, you named a whole bunch.
Yeah, there are certain things you probably should not call me about that can plug in.
Okay. Keep it legal, people.
Or use batteries.
Or, these have batteries. My phone has a battery. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I remember when on cell phones you could actually replace the battery. Those were good
You
times.
still can. You just need really little screwdriver.
A really
Exactly.
tiny one, right? Gotcha.
Take out 3 screws, I think, in the iPhones. They're
Nice. Back in the day.
like, no, today.
Today?
They're like hair thin.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's
I've
like
never
3
done it.
screws, and you got to have a little widget to, pull the screen off. And I had some guy do it. He broke 4 screens putting them in. Said, yeah, just buy a new phone.
Just buy a new phone,
At
exactly.
that point, call it a day.
Spend the $1,600 on a new phone. Well, for people who are just tuning in, this interview will be on our YouTube in a few days. Usually it takes us up to a week to get that up there. Definitely check it out, K4CO Radio YouTube. Subscribe to us so you get alerted when interviews get uploaded. And you've been listening to Brett Minzer. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity. I truly appreciate it.
Definitely. We gotta want to have you back too, because yeah, we get along. We have some good humor.
We
My
do.
brother plays banjo.
Nice.
There we go.
Okay.
All
We'll
right.
bring him in for some banjo and IT updates.
He doesn't care about IT, but he does love to play banjo.
We'll get you both in here.
And Sarah's learning the drums, so we can start a band.
Okay.
I've had 2 lessons, so don't hold your breath.
I've had
Keep
3 on
breathing.
the keyboard.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. We'll be a really terrible band.
If I'm involved in it, I have no artistic ability whatsoever.
Me too. I'm with you. You know what? We're going to make the next hit song. I can feel it. I like it. Banjo, keyboards, drums. Right. You heard it here.
Definitely. Love it. Well, stay tuned for some really good music coming up. And we also have the Colorado Only Hour every day from 7 to 8. So thank you very much for tuning in. And Sarah, you want to lead us out?
Sure. Yeah. No, this has been amazing. Thank you again, Brett, with IT1 Services. And thank you. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday evening. Definitely stay tuned from 7 to 8, as Josh said, for our Colorado Only Hour, which is amazing. The amount of talent we have here is fabulous. So thank you again for all of our listeners for tuning in to a special K4CO radio interview. And enjoy some music, and we will be back tomorrow.
Take care.